fraud and corruption trial of former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede and 21 others resumes today. Now they face charges relating to a dodgy 300 million rand solid waste tender. Our senior reporter eNCA's Dasen Thathiah is closely monitoring this trial for us and joins me now, of course, for the very latest. Dasen, a very warm good morning to you, colleague. I mean, it's another day where we see former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede back in court, but what can we expect this morning?
Well, even though this is the second such session, we were here a few months ago when this trial started, but we are nowhere near the end, nowhere near the middle even, because it's going to be a very lengthy process. But just to recap, before the first session ended a few months ago, we had seen two witnesses that were called up, the first being Mbuso Ngobo, who's now former head of the CIIU, the city's Integrity and Investigations Unit, as well as one of the investigators, Sean Hitler. He was the last person on the stand after Ngobo fell ill and wasn't able to continue his testimony. So one of the last things that happened in court before we wrapped was that this bundle of documents that had been spoken about quite frequently at the time was then submitted as evidence. It was essentially how this entire complaint had originated. It was a bundle of documents and a complaint that was left at the offices of the CIIU, and that really was the beginning of what then later evolved into a criminal case and a criminal trial. I want to bring in now Ntando Kuzwayo, who is one of the supporters of the former Mayor Zandile Gumede. Ntando, thanks so much for joining me. Let's start with Mbuso Ngobo. One of the developments that have taken place since we last spoke is that he has now resigned because he's allegedly been receiving death threats. What does that say to you about the mood and the environment surrounding this particular trial? Do you know of witnesses perhaps being intimidated?
Thank you, Dasen, and good morning to your viewers. I wouldn't really know where the death threats would have been coming from. Look, he was head of CIIU, responsible for investigating more than 27,000 people in the municipality. And there's thousands of cases, by the way. Some of them are more serious than this one, but they just have less media interest because they're not politically connected. But there's a number of cases that he's investigating, so we wouldn't really know where that would have been coming from. But I can assure you it definitely wouldn't be coming from this case, because in this case he's really a non-factor. The kind of evidence he's been giving here is so weak, you know. So I don't know whether he's dead or alive, how he contributes positively or negatively to this case. Really, it's got nothing to do with this case, that I can assure you. But I'm not aware that that there are witnesses who are or have received death threats.
I want to also touch on something else. Recently, you may or may not have seen, we had an opportunity to interview the lead forensic investigator from IFS, you know, the company that the name has come up quite a few times during this trial, one of the companies that was, the company that actually was behind the initial report. When we spoke to that investigator, you know, there were certain conclusions that could have been drawn. One of them was that one of the accused here still receiving money from the municipality. But the other intonation that was made was that there were spikes in payments just prior to when the trial resumes. That to me says that it's almost an indication that money could be drawn from the municipality to pay for the trial. How are the legal fees being covered in this case?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't comment for each and every individual person here on how they are sourcing monies for payment of their legal fees. But what I do know is that the municipality has various supply chain management processes to procure many services. Every day the municipality is buying something, almost every day. So what contracts a particular contractor has with the municipality, I'm not aware of, and the kind of payments they're supposed to receive and when they should be receiving those, I'm really not aware of. Because there are instances, I'll give you just one example that I once became aware of. There was a company that was owed by the municipality over 100 million rand. Now, when we were inquiring, why is this company being owed so much money? it turns out that the company was non-compliant, so the municipality was not able to process the payment of that company. So if that payment was suddenly being processed, people are going to say, hey, someone was paid 100 million rand, whereas it's been 2 years and the municipality couldn't pay them. So it's not an issue of when the payments are being made and for what purpose. That's between the contractor and the municipality, unless you are saying there's some kind of wrongdoing. But that also raises a question to me to say, okay, so it means that this IFS or the company that is making these claims has been putting this particular company under scrutiny, even post this trial, because that means then after they concluded their investigation, they went a step further and looked into other contracts if this company is doing business with the municipality and what are they being paid for. Then that leaves me with many questions.
Yeah, I think the connection would have been just necessarily in regards to the payments of this, because it is costly to be in court for these different periods. And I think the question would be then, how is even if you were just to speak for the former mayor, for example, how is she managing to pay for
but
this?
we did tell you this. I will repeat it again. Mam Zandile was a councillor here in eThekwini for over 20 years. So she had pension money that she relied on to pay for these fees. And we've been saying this and we'll keep saying it. She still has that little bit of money left, and we are really hoping that the trial is going to be speedy before the money runs out, because really it's going to be a problem.
Thanks so much, Ntando Kuzwai. I don't know if you'll get your wish, because it is still very early in this case. I mean, the state's saying that it has a number of witnesses to call, and at this point, it's only 2 of those that we have seen on the stand so far. Thank you. We'll leave it there for now, Jamila.
Right, Dasen Thathiah, we'll leave it there, of course, and come back to you as soon as, of course, court proceedings do commence and there are any other developments, colleague, on this trial that resumes today involving former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede as well as 21 others.